Hey, everybody, welcome to the Soccer Sharps, a soccer betting podcast. And Jordan, we return for domestic weekend action. We've got the Premier League, we've got the Bundesliga, we've got La Liga and Ligue 1, even the Serie A, all of the big five European leagues we are covering with a bunch of best bets. So if you guys are interested, stick around for that, baby. Here we go.
Martial, Herrera, Ibrahimovic! Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch. Balotelli, Aguero!
As I mentioned, Jordan, we're back for domestic league action after a Champions League midweek. But how you doing on this fine Thursday evening, Jord?
Dev, it was much worse than meh, I have to say. We got cooked in the Champs League, sadly. Listen, we can't have nice things on this show, Dev. We had an absolute heater 2 shows back. We were feeling ourselves, and then we're promptly smited back-to-back shows. The gambling gods don't like us, but always we go again, and we're here to try and bounce back, Dev.
Yeah, well, before we do it, we got to do the results. We got to throw them up there. We got to do it. Champions League results up on the screen right now. I went 2-5, minus 2.3 units. Jord at least got a push in there, going 2-4-1 for minus 1.95 units. Minus 4 for the show. Please, I hope you didn't tail us on everything, just picking select spots, because some of the stuff that we were right about, I mean, Man City money line, plus 170, I was happy I hit that. Newcastle giving up a tying goal in the dying minutes of that match against Leverkusen. Sunk my money line bet for them, and they had their chances. Couple of post hits, and it'll drive you to drink, is what it'll do, Jord, as I've got my tequila soda in hand here.
Yeah. Cheers, Dev. I also had some bad beats in there. PSV Eindhoven losing outright to Atletico Madrid, despite winning in every statistical category, including XG. But look, that's the game of soccer. Sometimes it's going to soccer. Just wanted to point out, if anyone was like watching this and was like, hey, that math's a little suspect. Remember, when we have directly oppo plays, as Dev and I did in the Inter-Liverpool game, while they're still on our individual records, we remove them from the combined total because it's a fool's errand, right?
You just wanted to bring that up because you got that one right, huh?
With the no, I didn't say anything. I didn't. You just added
yourself. Say anything. Said something.
I was just saying, hey, don't question my math skills.
What a trash penalty that was. I was just...
Well, they deserve to win the game on the balance of play. Had all the best chances.
Perhaps. I mean, yeah, Inter had some good ones. They only need one.
That goal that got chalked off was fucking soft as hell. So I kind of felt like the penalty was justified.
What is handball and not anymore? I throw my hands up when I see it. I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
Agreed.
So okay, I actually thought it probably was a handball. If it leads directly to a goal off the guy's arm, seems like it should probably be a handball in that first one. Second penalty I thought was harsh. Verts falling down. I mean, it's just so soft.
Can't be tugging. Can't be tugging.
Can't be tugging. We're used to watching CONCACAF here in the United States, Jordan. Let me tell you, those referees, they don't call anything. You have to bring a knife onto the field to get a yellow card.
Right.
But Jordan, enough griping. Enough lollygagging. We've got domestic league action to break down. So let's go jump into our first matchup here. It's tomorrow. It's on Friday. Jordan, we're talking about the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
The Friday night match. It's Union Berlin against RB Leipzig. The RB, of course, standing not for Red Bull, as many think, but Rasenballsport Leipzig. You can look that one up. It is true. Union Berlin in this one, Jordan, home dogs of a half a goal, plus 0.5. The total is set at 2.75. Jordan, these two teams meeting Friday night in Berlin. What do you think about this matchup?
Well, Dev, I have to say I've missed the fact that we haven't had Leipzig on this show for a while. That hearty Leipzig you just gave out there was so satisfying to hear. And yeah, just glad to have him back on the show. Dev, And Leipzig are in great form right now. They come into this one in an unbeaten run, looking quite good. Their most recent outing in the Bundesliga, they put six past Frankfurt. That was impressive. Union Berlin find themselves in a different way here, Dev. Winless in their last few matches, winless in 3. They're struggling a bit, although they have been better at home, keeping more clean sheets. We know this Union team can be good defensively. I think that's why we're seeing a bit of a hand-wringy total here from the market. The 2.75 in a Bundesliga, relatively rare, right? So I was kind of torn on how I wanted to go with this, Dev. I want to be with Leipzig in some form or fashion. But as I've pointed out recently, I'm not wild about taking road favorites, especially, on a Friday night in the Bundesliga, standalone match. Union fans are going to be up for it. I've already mentioned they're a little bit better at home, but I just couldn't pass it up this time, Dev. I think the price is right. I think Union come into this in some poor form, and Leipzig are red hot right now. And I was really just debating between taking that team total or taking them on the money line. And because of Union's defensive record and because of some of the head-to-heads we've seen between these teams, where we actually have seen some 0-0s in recent meetings, I decided not to mess with it and just hope that Leipzig can win the game, whether it's, by hook or by crook. A 1-0, I'll take it. If it is a higher scoring match, I do back them to score the majority of the goals. So I'm going to go with a road favorite here on the money line at my favorite price, Dev, plus 100 even money.
Yeah, important to point out, George, you are taking the money line price, not the Asian handicap, which is 2 cents better, minus half a goal for Leipzig. And the reason for that is because of early payouts on certain sports books.
That's right.
Leipzig, if you take them on the money line, they go up by 2 goals in the match. You automatically cash that bet, even if Union come back and draw in a 2-2 later in the match. So important little detail there. Look, I'm not betting on this thing, George. It's a Friday night. In the Bundesliga, we've seen the total go under between these two teams head-to-head in their last 3, including the past 2 matches were both 0-0s. Yep. So scary. Freaks me out a little bit. It's been a weird Bundesliga year. I haven't capped it very well, so I'm staying off of this one, but I wish you best of luck there with Leipzig TT. All right, Jordan. Well, let's move over to the Premier League. We're taking a look at Liverpool against Brighton and Hove Albion. This one sees Liverpool as home favorites, 3/4 of a goal, minus 0.75. The total is set at a flat 3. Jordan, Liverpool, we mentioned at the top of the show, defeating Inter in Milan in a 1-0 victory, only scoring from a penalty. And Brighton, well, they didn't play in the midweek, but they've been pretty hot in the EPL, at least in terms of scoring goals. Now they got to travel to Anfield. And what do you think about this matchup, Jordan?
Yeah, Dev, you said it. At least in terms of scoring goals, Brighton matches have been pretty entertaining, right? We're seeing over 2.5 goals in 8 straight meetings between these two teams, because we already know Liverpool are seeing tons of goals everywhere. We was kind of surprised to actually see that Inter-Liverpool game go under. But certainly in the Prem, for the most part, these teams are seeing over 2.5 goals. I actually thought the total might be lined slightly higher. The flat 3 was interesting to me. Of course, Brighton last time out did get a 1-1 draw with my West Ham United. Was stunned that we got a result there. But listen, this one starts with goals. I think over 2.5 comes through here. But obviously, since the total's lined at the flat 3, I got to tack something on to the over 2.5, Dev. And I'm going to be a little more bullish on Liverpool here. I'm going to take Liverpool double chance. Just Liverpool not to get beaten this one at home. And over 2.5 goals in the match. I think Liverpool can win this, right? It's been a while since we've seen a good performance from them at Anfield, right? No one's really been afraid of coming to Anfield in recent meetings. But getting that win, I think the Salah distraction, we talked about it on the last show. I thought maybe it could have a galvanizing effect, and certainly they looked better, right, without Salah there. Maybe the team was galvanized by leaving him home, removing the distraction. They played well in that game. I thought they were deserved winners, and maybe that'll give them some confidence. Now, can they finally go back to Anfield and give their fans a performance? I think so. This Brighton team are leaky. My own terrible team were moments away from getting 3 points against them, but Left the back door open, baby. You bring up handball. That was an insane handball decision too. We just don't know. We just don't know what the fucking handball rule is. That's for a different time. But Liverpool, not to get beat here, Dev. I like them to get some kind of result here. Liverpool on the double chance and over 2.5 goals, coming in at -120.
Nice, Jordan. Well, I'm going in a similar direction. I am going to go with the goals here. I'm just going to go with the classic. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, -125. When you parlay those together, getting a little bit on the juicy end, but I think you mentioned this. When these two teams meet, we've seen over 2.5 in 8 straight meetings. We've seen both teams score in 6 straight meetings. So I expect there to be a lot of goals here. And then you look at the injury list, particularly for Liverpool, and they've got some problems at right back, right? Connor Bradley's going to be suspended for this one because of yellow cards. Frimpong is still out. So I guess it's going to be Szoboszlai back there in right back. Maybe it'll be Curtis Jones. He's deputized there a little bit as well. So some shuffling will need to be done. Cody Gakpo also out for this one. Federico Chiesa usually comes in off the bench, but he is out for this one. So maybe a little bit of signs of some wear and tear happening on this Liverpool side. Look, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter when I'm just trying to get goals on the board. I have no doubt Liverpool is getting on the board at Anfield. And with Brighton's record, the way they've been playing, I think they should be able to as well. They have a pretty clean bill of health, including Karu Mitoma, who may be coming back for this one. So he's been out for a while. Like to see him make his debut, especially for my fantasy team, Jord. So that's where I'm going, Jord. Just keeping it goals, keeping it simple here.
Fair enough, Dev. I want to address something in the chat here from Aaron. He says, "What about Liverpool money line and over 1.5 goals?" Now I get to address my problem with money line and over 1.5. I think it's a false sense of security, Aaron. This is the thing. Money line and over 1.5 only brings in one score line that the over 2.5 with the money line doesn't. That's the 2-0, right? That's the only score line you're getting that's different, right? And there are better, more valuable ways to play that, right? You can play the -1 if you think the 2-0 is a real runner, or you can play Liverpool win to 0 if you think the 2-0 is really likely. But with the way this Liverpool team have defended, certainly in the Premier League, every chance Brighton get on the score sheet. So I would recommend going money line and over 2.5. It brings in way more score lines, right? And yeah, you're getting a better price.
Yeah, that's interesting. You went double chance though, right? Not money line.
I went double chance. Now double chance and over 1.5. That's a different story because then you're bringing in the 1-1, the 2-0. That's different. But money line and over 1.5, fools Aaron.
Interesting. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Jordan. And if you guys are watching this live, go ahead and jump in the chat like Aaron did. Thank you for that, Aaron. You can tell us, ask us questions like that. I thought that was a great question and great explanation from you, Jordan. You can tell us what you guys are betting. A lot of it's been helpful for us in the past with listeners coming in, sharing their bets, their plays. This is a good time to tell you, if you are watching, give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Jordan, let's move on because we have an absolute banger coming up next. It is the Tyne-Wear Derby. It's Sunderland against Newcastle United. Newcastle and Sunderland, bitter rivals facing in the Premier League for the first time in quite some time since Sunderland has been below the top division, and they are home dogs in this one of 1/4 of a goal. The total is set at 2.5. I've seen that dropping down, Jordan. When I was looking at this right before, I think that has already moved down to 2.25. So we're seeing the way the bookies, maybe some of the public money is thinking this one's going to go. And with such a, how do I put this, bloodthirsty derby, I can understand why. But what do you think about this matchup, Jordan? The Tyne-Wear Derby.
Yeah, Dev, I'm super stoked for this. These teams have not met in the league since 2016. So they're itching
10 years.
For this. Yeah, they are itching for this one. They did meet in one of the cups, I believe, in 2024. And that was a 3-0 to Newcastle. And the 3-0 is sort of a pattern, even though we're going back to 2016. Often both teams to score no hits in this. In this matchup. And so that's why I kind of thought it was interesting that both teams to score no here is plus 105. Now, that hasn't moved, despite, as you said, the total getting shorter, which makes sense, right? Because we're seeing cagey games when these teams meet, and we're seeing both teams to score no hit. So I think there's value on that both teams to score no, Dev. That's probably what I would take with this one. But I stayed away. I had to stay away from this one because there's too much unknown. Is it going to be a bloodbath? Like, how intense is it? It's been so long since we've seen one of these, certainly in the Prem. So I kind of want to sit back and watch this one, just enjoy the spectacle. As things get closer, I think about it more and I want some action on it. I probably will, take a stab at that both teams to score no. But yeah, for me right now, nothing. What are you seeing in this one?
Jord, I think I'm getting the better team as a home underdog here.
Whoa.
I'm getting Sunderland fully rested. They don't have to play in the midweek. They're not playing in Europe. Getting a quarter of a goal. You got this Newcastle side. They're getting banged up in the midweek. Joelinton came off with an injury against Leverkusen. And the other way I would look at this is an under. We know how Sunderland like to play. They're going to keep the game tight. They're going to defend really well, and they're going to break with some youth and athleticism. And a good point to bring up here is this is the last weekend before the AFCON. And I think 6 of the 11 starters for Sunderland are African players that are going to AFCON. So this may be your last chance to bet on Sunderland before we're going to immediately start fading them because they have punched above their weight a little bit. I think with the occasion here, it feels like there could be a draw. I mentioned the total moving towards the under. I was looking that way as well. I liked the under 2.5, but that price was gone, or the line was gone by the time I took a look at this. So I'm just gonna go with that plus a quarter of a goal. I think you could get plus a half a goal and maybe parlay with under 3.5. I looked at that as well for like slight plus money, like plus 105 or something. Is one way to take it. And yeah, so you longtime listeners know what kind of match we're predicting this to be. So all the bets that come into it, and the chat is popping off. So I want to throw some stuff in here. Aaron DeSantis says, what about halftime draw? Not a bad shot. I looked at halftime under 1. I think that's probably like minus 120, minus 125. That's a nice little safe way to play it. If there is one goal in the first half, you can just push out of it.
Halftime draw coming in at plus 120 right now, it looks like.
For the just the draw, yeah, that's not bad.
Halftime draw.
Can always look at the exact score 0-0 if you want to be crazy. We've got ML Kid in the chat again. He's talking about the last game, Mo Salah. He says the Mo Salah AFCON prop's going to hit like crack because we all know Liverpool won't be hitting anymore. It does seem like it's probably curtains for Mo Salah's career at Anfield. Bob DeVita in the chat says, do these current players even know why the teams hate each other? Well, I think it's just the distance. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they know. Like, you don't play for one of these clubs without knowing, or you don't live in that region without knowing. It is quite a rival. It's one of the biggest derbies in all of Britain. Massive.
Yeah. And look, the fans are going to make sure that they know. It's going to be an absolute cauldron in there. So the atmosphere is going to be insane. We're tuning in just for that. So, Jordan, I am going to go with that plus a quarter of a goal. Every chance this is a draw. And I like getting Sunderland on side as well. The more rested team before they head to AFCON. We will see how that goes.
Yeah, I do like that, Dev. And also I see MLK in here saying Sunderland top 10 finish, future bet 20-1. That's really big for top 10 finish. I mean, that's just top half of the table. 20-1?
He must have gotten that in early, right?
Yeah, because I was going to say, if that's true, get that in now before before the players go away to AFCON. Or actually, maybe it would get bigger when the players go to AFCON. But yeah, that's got to be. Can you tell us in the chat there, MLK, what happened? Did you get that early? That's certainly not the current price, right?
Yeah.
Oh, got it in August. Got it in August. Yeah. Okay.
He says I got that huge. One in August.
That's awesome. I think you cashed that for sure.
Nice. All right. Well, you just got the jinx of death from Jordan.
Kiss
I'm
of death,
sure
baby.
You cashed that. Horrible sentence to hear. But Jordan, let's move on. We've got even more Premier League action for you guys. And this one, kicking off early on Sunday, it's Crystal Palace against Manchester City. This one sees Palace as home dogs of half a goal plus 0.5. The total is set at 2.75. Jord, Crystal Palace to score twice at home plus 175. That team total looks pretty nice. City on the money line minus 118. Palace or draw both at plus 290. There's a lot of options in this game. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, Dev, I think this could be a fun one. I'm a little worried that it's going to be pretty tight, though. I think, the thing with Palace under Glasner, right, is at home, due to the size of their club, at home against the big teams, they can sit off. Their fans aren't going to push them to like go at these teams, right? So even though they're performing like a top 6 side under Glasner, the fans don't get on their back like you need to be playing that way. You need to be attacking. You need to be pressing. So they can sit back in this one and just try and frustrate City, and they've done that pretty well with most of the big 6 teams. So I think that could be the recipe here. City are going to have a lot of the ball. We know this. I think it could be tight. I think, this was a tough one to call for sure, because I do think that City's vulnerabilities that are talked about a lot are kind of overblown. They've had some weird moments where they've kind of let teams come back in, right? Like famously against Leeds, they were up 2-0, let Leeds back into that. And then the big one against Fulham where they were up 5-1 and then had a chance of almost dropping 2 points there at the end, but for a goal line clearance. So maybe they switch off a little bit after they do some good work early. But other than that, like they're rolling. They're a few points out of first place in the Prem. They just went to the Bernabeu and won. Rumors of their demise are greatly exaggerated, is what I'm trying to say. On paper, City should be winning this game. That said, I'm not going to take them as a road favorite to win this game. Not against this Palace team. They're too scrappy. They're too organized. Huge loss for them not having Daniel Munoz. I think you could make an argument that he's Palace's best player, certainly on current form. And he does so much for the way Glasner likes to play, right? Springing those counterattacks, doing the overlaps, getting forward. Huge miss. I don't think it can be overstated. So I don't think City get beat here, is what I'm trying to say. I think there's every chance there's a draw. I was looking at the draw, just playing that. That's a big draw price for a Premier League match, plus 290. We're almost hitting 3-1 there. Thought about it long and hard, but the hand ringer made an appearance, Dev. The hand ringer's here. That's right.
Ringer.
And I have to say,
we got to make some kind of audio cue for that.
Yeah. I'll look into
work on that.
That's a good call. So I've gone with City double chance, much like I did with the Liverpool match. City double chance, but instead of going over with this one, I'm tacking on under 3.5. Now, I mentioned some of those City games where they were leaky and we saw a ton of goals, but that kind of tends to happen against the bottom half of the league. If you look at City's games against sort of the top 6 or, at least the top half of the table, really the top 8, games have been a little less eventful, right? We're seeing some 2-1s, some 2-0s, tighter matches, and then they just have a lot of fun with the lower teams in the league, have tons of goals. Maybe they switch off, just get complacent. I don't know what it is, but I think this one will be tighter. I think it's unlikely that this gets to 4 goals. So I was comfortable tacking on the under 3.5 to Man City double chance, and that is coming in at minus 110.
All right, hand ringer. I like where you're going with that. Jordan, I'm going to go with the home dog here, plus a half a goal. I'm taking Palace, even money to win or to draw. These two teams met, obviously, in the FA Cup final, massive match in which Crystal Palace did win that 1-0. That's their most recent matchup. Before that, it's always Man City or draw. In their past, a lot of matchups. I'm looking at 2, 4, 6, about 9 straight meetings. It has been a City win or a draw. These two teams coming in great form. Palace, 3 wins across all comps. City, 4 wins across all comps. City, over 2.5 goals in 9 of the last 10 matches across all comps. I really thought about taking an over here. I thought about the both teams to score and over 2.5. I was looking at that. But you mentioned it, Jordan. This is a big game for the standings. Crystal Palace sitting in 4th right now on 26 points. Man City on 31. They're trying to keep pace with Arsenal. They need to get points from every match. They can't afford to lose anything. God, I almost talking myself out of my bet as I say this.
Classic.
It's just, and you mentioned the injuries. That's another big one for Palace. Daniel Munoz will be out, as you mentioned. Ismaila Sarr will be likely missing this one. He's doubtful. Mateta seems probable to play. And let's be honest, he gonna play against City.
He gonna play.
So I think they can at least
your bet's
get on
bad
the
at all, Dev, because
no, they can get on the
Sorry, go ahead.
board. If Palace can at least get on the board, then I think they'll keep it interesting in a game that I think could go under just because of the situation at hand. So yeah, I like getting 2 of the 3 outcomes on my side at even money, especially for the home team. I like all of that. These teams both winning. Crystal Palace a lot easier during the midweek, winning 3-0 today. City, boy, they were holding on at the end against Real Madrid. I was sweating the City moneyline bet. But yeah, a lot of ways to go with this one. What do you guys think in the chat? We've got Evan in the chat says Haaland anytime -125. I mean, look, he's worth it. The guy is just absolutely incredible. At that price, it's like, sure, he's probably going to score. Aaron in the chat says, I kind of like Palace to win either half at +120. That's a good way to take that. That's an interesting way. Maybe they spring out, get an early lead and a 1-0 at halftime. City promptly come back and draw the game, George, so we can both cash. How about that?
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. 0-0, 1-1, something along those lines. I have to mind the total a little bit. I got to worry about that getting to 4 goals, but don't think that's likely. Really, we're rooting for the draw here for the podcast. But Dev, I just want to say I don't mind your bet at all because I do think that draw between the 3-way money line, if I had to pick something, I'd probably take that draw. The price is, well, it's the same as Palace on the money line, but I think draw's most likely. So I love that we're each getting a half a goal on our side.
There you go.
Let's hope for the draw, baby.
Let's hope for the draw. Let's hope for the 1-1. That would be best for you, right? You can't cash on a 2-2.
I could cash on a 0-0 though. 0-0, 1-1.
There you go. All right. Well, we'll take any of those. Speaking of things near and dear to your heart, George, we're moving on to West Ham United against Aston Villa. This one sees West Ham, your West Ham Irons of London, plus a half a goal underdogs, and the total is set at 2.5. George, both teams to score in this one, -150. Villa straight up to win at even money. But what do you think about this matchup here, George?
Well, Dev, my team, my terrible team, have made our card in like what, other than the Champions League card, like 4 straight. Not a great sign. Never a great sign. However, to be fair, I've gotten it right most of the time. So, and now that I spake that to existence, yeah, gonna get smited. But yeah, look, West Ham kind of starting to show signs of improvement, right? It was really disappointing that they didn't get the 3 points at Brighton despite leading so late on, and then a controversial controversial handball no call to give Brighton the equalizer there at the death, but still got a point before the match kicked off. If you ask me if I'd take a point at Brighton, I say absolutely. Before that, got a point at Old Trafford. That's also a good result. So it's not what West Ham need, right? They're down in the relegation zone. Getting 1 point from every match isn't really going to catapult you out of there. But in isolation, in a vacuum, these results you would take, right? Like going to Brighton, getting a draw, going to Old Trafford, getting a draw. Okay. Well, now you're at home where West Ham have been absolutely dreadful under the last 3 managers for quite some time. And they're welcoming Aston Villa, who are now very much in the title race in the EPL, coming into this in great form. I think in all comps, they now have 8 straight wins. The one thing I'm banking on here is that Villa come into this having played in the midweek, West Ham fully rested, preparing for this match. And I'm hoping that they're more confident now because they're putting together results despite not getting 3 points in the matches. So, Dev, if they're going to get anything from this match, West Ham, they're going to have to score because I think Villa get on the score sheet here. And so that starts my handicap at both teams to score yes, currently lined at -150. You know that's a prohibitive price for this podcast, so I had to tack something on, and I decided to tack on under 4.5 goals. Both teams to score yes and under 4.5. That's coming in at +115. I would be pretty surprised if this got to 5 goals, given the way Nuno's going to set up with West Ham here, going to try and contain Villa, and given the fact that Villa played in the midweek, there will be some rotation. Unai Emery's not going to have them gas themselves trying to put 3 past them or anything. So I think it's just their mentality is going to be come in here, get the 3 points by hook or by crook, 1-0, something like that. Can we do that? I don't think so, because I think Hammers score. So both teams to score yes and under 4.5 brings in a lot of score lines. 2-1 either way, the 2-2, the Desmond, as they call it, the 1-1. So something along those lines, and I'll be rooting for West Ham to get at least something out of the match. Dev, what are you thinking in this one? Because I think you disagree.
I don't necessarily disagree. I think West Ham could score here. They're at home, but I'm going with Villa on the money line. Jordan, even money here. They're red hot right now. We were so high on this team coming into the season. We thought, wow, this team's going to push for the title race. They're definitely going to make Champions League for next season. We love everything that they're doing here with Unai Emery and bringing back a lot of the same guys. I loved some of their signings. I thought they did really smart business. And then they started off completely on their face. Terrible opening to the season. I think they lost 3 in a row, or at least it didn't win for like 5 straight. But now they've slowly come back into form. They've slowly come back into what we expected at the beginning of this. 8 wins in a row across all competitions. You brought that up. No losses against West Ham in 6 straight head-to-head meetings. And now you're giving me even money for them. Yes, they're on the road. Yes, they played midweek, but it was pretty much a walk in the park. Winning 3-0 against 2-1 against Basel. But again, it wasn't really in jeopardy. They went up 2-0 and kind of took their foot off the gas in that one. Both of these teams have very clean bill of health heading into this. Only a couple of sort of fringe players injured. So should be full strength lineups. And if you're telling me that, I still just think West Ham should get the win. I do like what your Irons have been doing with Nuno, though, Jord. I thought
Villa, yeah. Villa should get the win, yeah.
Villa should get the win, I'm sorry. I do like what the Irons have been doing under Nuno. I think he's a great manager, and I think he'll at least keep them up this season, but I don't think it starts here, especially now that Villa have moved into 3rd place, only 3 points behind Arsenal, 1 point behind City. Do we have a title race on our hands? Could be kind of fun.
Oh, I think we do, Dev. Very much so.
Hell yeah, Jordan. Well, yeah, I'm keeping it simple. Moneyline, Aston Villa, don't complicate it. This is a good time to tell you guys, if you are listening, watching, wherever you are, please consider giving us a like, a follow, a subscribe. It goes a long way to helping us and gives you good karma for your bets. That's what you need sometimes when you're betting the game of soccer, because it's just one bounce of the ball can mean you win or you lose. That's just how it goes. But, Jordan, we're moving on to a league we don't often cover, and it's Liga in Le François. We're taking a look at Racing Club de Lens against Nice. Lens versus Nice. This one sees Lens as -1 goal favorites at home, and the total is set at a flat 3. We got to give a quick history lesson on this, Jordan, maybe an update of the contemporary status of these clubs. Lens currently top of Ligue 1, which is quite an achievement, ahead of PSG, who always win the league, and OGC Nice. Well, Nice, 2 weeks ago, their fans got into a physical altercation with the players, literally fistfights in the stands, completely insane. Players want out of the club now. They're trying to break their contracts for all kinds of different reasons, the main one being that the fans fought them on the field. And it's really put this club, this classic French club, into a bit of a tailspin. But Jordan, that's enough of me talking. What do you think about this matchup?
It's a real shame, Dev, especially because in recent seasons, Nice have been quite good. You hate to see it. The Ultras did not show up to the last match, boycotted it, just weren't there. So, yeah, it's not getting any better. And now you're traveling to the best team in the league on paper in the standings. Yeah, last team you want to be facing right now. So, look, hard not to see. Oh, the card's wrong. It says Lyon. Lyon money line. Hard not to see Lens getting the win here, minus 200 on the money line, and that brings in Dev the -1 on the handicap, which we call a free hit, right? You're taking them -1. If you think they win the game, why not? Can they win it by margin against this other club that's going into absolute carnage with their fans and everything? Sky is completely falling. They certainly could, and you're going to push out if they can only win by 1. I think there's a chance Lens only win by 1 because while they are top, it's not like they're doing it by lighting the league on fire with a ton of goal scoring. I would actually lean under 3 on this one because Lens, what they're doing is a much more organized style, especially for what we typically see in Liga. So I think this could be a 1-0 kind of situation. There are a lot of ways to attack it, but you got to be with Lens in some form or fashion. I'm not involved in this match, Dev. You tell us what you got for this one.
It's exactly that, George. It's the free hit. It's -1. You're telling me the home team, the best team in the league, must keep winning. These games are all incredibly important to them. They must win against this team that's, in complete turmoil. This is a good time to point out that OGC Nice are actually owned by the same guys that own Manchester United. This was their original club that they bought, and then they said, "Oh, well, we got an opportunity to buy Man U." So then they turned their attention that way. It's called Ineos. I want to say Ineos.
Yeah. Ineos.
And
Jim Radcliffe.
Jim Radcliffe, that's his name. He literally said, "I don't like to watch this team," and it's like, what kind of message does that send? Like, the fucking owner doesn't want to watch the team because he finds their football boring or something. He said, "Excuse me, their soccer." And it just sucks. It's just a shitty situation. I mean, this team 8 straight losses across all competitions. Lens 5 straight wins, and it's pretty much the end of the handicap, Jordan. It's just you're giving me -1, a free hit here, and yeah, it's just sad for Nice. Look, they're gonna get a point at some point. They will. They're so professionals. They're showing up to play the games. I just don't think it's this week. So give me that free hit, Jordan, -1. Of course, the last time I took a free hit, it was PSG, another Ligue team in the Champions League. I thought for sure they would beat Bilbao, and that didn't happen. So, soccer's going to soccer. As Evan says in the chat, soccer.
Soccer.
I hear you, buddy. Cheers
Soccer.
to that. But George, speaking of Bilbao, we've got them up on the card next. So let's move over to La Liga. We're taking a look at Celta de Vigo against Athletic Club Bilbao. This one lined as a pick, and the total is set at 2.25. George, both teams to score, yes or no, both -110. Either team to score 2 goals, huge plus money. Either way you go. But what do you think about this matchup, George?
Well, Dev, I didn't hear anything you said because of some technical difficulties, but I came back just in time, right when you passed it to me. So listen, not knowing what you said, I have to say, Celta Vigo coming off of a famous win last weekend against Real Madrid, winning 2-0. And that was one of the reasons that there was like all this heat coming at Alonso and Real Madrid in the midweek. So that's another thing. I'm not going to talk about Real Madrid right now. Again, I think that stuff's a little overblown as well. But we're talking about the Celta Vigo side of this. And while both teams to score didn't hit in that Real Madrid match, make no mistake, Celta Vigo are still the both teams to score merchants. They, like Real Madrid, also played in the midweek, as did Athletic Club. And actually just played today, losing 2-1. So both teams to score, yes, hit again. So the both teams to score merchants very much alive here. It's -110 either way. I think we got to take it. Look, Bilbao, while they have been kind of shit lately, there were reasons, I think, right? A lot of players missing. They're getting healthier. Players are coming back. We're seeing them put in better performances. So I think they absolutely can get on the score sheet here against Celta, because almost everybody does. And Celta at home, certainly good for a goal. So, you're splitting it. It's a 50-50, right? It's a coin toss here. Do both teams score or not? Minus 110, same price either way. I'm going to take the yes, handicap over.
Hell yeah, Jordan. Yeah, I wish you luck with that. I'm not going near La Liga. I don't trust any of these teams. All they do is screw me over. And I just want to say, Jordan, if we have technical difficulties and you miss my little intro, I'm not saying anything important. you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
I'm just ranting.
That's fair. Speaking of which, I'm going to do a quick thing here. So if you lose me, don't worry. I'm coming right back. I'm just switching my internet to a different internet.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I'm going to move on to the next. I'm going to move on to the next match, Jordan, because we got one more matchup for you guys. Thank you so much for being with us. We're taking it down to the Italian peninsula. It is in the Serie, Bologna against Juventus. This one is lined as a pick, and the total is set at 2.25. Jordan, both teams to score yes, minus 106. Both teams to score no, minus 125. The bookies think this is going to be a low-scoring affair. Putting this as a pick and lining the total at 2.25. This feels like Serie A classic, written all over it, Jordan. Both these teams taking care of business, picking up wins in the midweek in the Europa League and in the Champions League for Juventus. But what do you think about this matchup here, Jordan?
Well, Dev, similar to the last match, I'm capping this the same way. Look, both teams to score, yes. A theme for me on this particular show. It's making a lot of my selections for the show. And the data love this selection here, Dev. Both teams to score, yes. It's hitting 5 straight matches for Bologna. We're seeing over 2.5 goals, 5 of the last 6 for Bologna. In the head-to-heads with these teams, no clean sheets for either side. No clean sheets for Bologna against Juventus in 19 straight meetings. Both teams to score in 5 straight. Has cashed. I just don't see how it doesn't hit again here. I know the total is low. It's Serie A after all. But look, I took Paphos in the midweek against Juventus. Paphos +2. And I even said on the pod, I'm like, watch, Paphos are going to be 0-0 the 70th minute, and I'm going to feel like a genius. And then the floodgates are going to open. Fortunately, they didn't open too massively. I still got the push out of it, but boy, was that irritating. I think Juventus still have a lot of work to do. And going on the road to this Bologna team, who are a tough nut to crack, to say the least, I don't want to mess with the side. I just know each team's going to get on the score sheet here. Minus 106, I don't understand why it's not the favorite here. I mean, I know it's Serie A, but come on. Minus 106, with the data I just spit out, come on. Both teams score yes, minus 106, that's where I'm going.
Jordan, this has 1-1 written all over it. These two teams, 5th and 7th in the table, 25 and 23 points. Bologna slightly ahead of Juve here. This thing's lined as a pick. You could take a side. The total's low. Both teams to score could go either way. I'm just taking the fucking draw, Jordan. Plus 225. Fuck you, bookies. I'm trying to make double my money on this thing.
F-bombs everywhere.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm sipping tequila doing a podcast. I just think it just seems like such a draw, right? I think both teams are happy with the draw. They're happy to get a point out of this. It feels like when we watched, who was it? Was it Juventus and Napoli, or was it AC Milan and Napoli right before the international break? And it was a very similarly lined game. And it was like both teams were like, we're okay with draw, no? And that's what they took. So I'm just going to play it. I'm just going to play the draw, and it's going to be a horrifying sweat. Juventus have been getting into better form, but don't forget this Bologna team. They've been one of the upstarts of Serie A in the past couple of seasons. So I think they can hold their own at home here. And it's nice to root for both teams because I just want the draw.
Yeah.
And George,
you want the draw. I want the both teams to score. We're rooting for the 1-1 or the 2-2 here, Dev. And let's not forget, our favorite manager in Serie A is at the helm at Bologna now. Vincenzo Italiano, a.k.a. Vinny Italian.
Hey, Vinny.
Also looks like the most villainous Scooby-Doo character possible, and it's hilarious.
Oh, God. I got to find him now.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious. Oh, look at this guy. It's another bald manager.
Yeah.
It's crazy the
bald-
amount of bald managers there are. It's like
really
it
are.
attracts a certain type of guy. Huh? Jordan, we're getting all kinds of love in the chat. I got to read out some of these. Thank you guys so much for watching along with us. That was our final game. We're going to get to our official plays in a minute, but you're giving us so much love. I just want to shout you out here. I appreciate it. Aaron DeSantis says, I just want to tell you guys, I look forward to the podcast every week. It's very sweet, man. We do too. We really look forward to doing this too. We appreciate you being with us, bud. Evan says, agreed. I've been listening to the show for a while, but it's the first time catching it live. Hey, thanks. Thanks, Evan. I like the look of your dog in that picture. Hope he can join us live sometime. Jacqueline in the chat says, hey, guys, I love the show. Let's go. Let's make some money, baby. Love seeing that. Aaron finally says, you guys do great stuff. Keep it up. Loving the Discord as well. Which is a great segue to tell you guys to please join the Discord. There is a link in the description of this podcast or this video, wherever you're watching it. Thank you guys so much. Really means a lot. And that was all very sweet of everyone. It's the holidays, people feeling generous.
People feeling good. You're not the only one drinking tequila tonight, evidently, Dev. But look, it's one thing to talk about these matches, and it's quite another to put our money where our mouths are and pay the bookie.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
Well, let's throw those official plays up there. Jord, on the screen, we'll read them out for the listeners. I've got Liverpool and Brighton, the classic. Both teams to score an over 2.5 at -125. Sunderland in the Newcastle derby, plus a quarter of a goal, -111. Crystal Palace, plus a half a goal. On the Asian handicap at even money, Aston Villa on the money line, also at even money. Lens over in Liga, -1 on the Asian handicap, -122. Bologna, Juventus, straight up draw, +225. What do you got, Jordan?
Yes, indeed, Dev. You've got a really nice balance there of dogs and favorites. Not a lot of goal involvement. So going with the sides for the most part. I'm coming in here, Dev, with Liverpool double chance and over 2.5 goals at -120. Very similar play to yours. Man City double chance and under 3.5 goals at -110. We're not necessarily oppo in that match, but we do need the draw for us to both be happy. In West Ham, Aston Villa, I've gone with both teams to score and under 4.5 goals at +115. RB Leipzig on the money line, +100 even money there. Celta Vigo and Athletic Club Bilbao, both teams to score yes at -110. And the same play in Bologna, Juventus coming in at -106.
Right on, Jordan. Well, that's going to do it for us. If you made it this far, give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. We appreciate it. Join the Discord. Leave us a review on your popular podcast apps, and we will read it out for you. We appreciate it. Jordan, any last words for the people?
No, Dev, I think you covered it really well there. So I'll just add my thanks, and I'll do the public service announcement to remind everyone to gamble responsibly. We're supposed to be having fun here. We're not trying to be throwing glasses against the wall, freaking out, breaking TVs, losing entire bankrolls on one weekend of soccer, right? Because soccer going soccer, right? Always keep that in mind. And soccer is a long season. So manage those bankrolls, bet responsibly, also drink responsibly, unlike us on this show. So while we do manage the bankroll, we certainly don't manage the liquor. On that note, Dev, let's make some money.
Let's make some money.